Are relations between India and the Maldives on the mend? What else does one make of reports that the Maldives is pushing for a high-level bilateral visit from India? Could a high-level bilateral visit imply one by Narendra Modi, or could it be the level of foreign minister or national security advisor? No details have been forthcoming, but for the nugget that the visit could take place early in this year, if the reports are confirmed, it does suggest that the Maldives wants to put bilateral relations back on track after a series of derailments. India-Maldives relations have seen ups and downs in the recent past. Three local leaders who met the Indian ambassador, Akhilesh Mishra, created that mini crisis. Then an op-ed piece in an online local language website, Waguthu described India as the enemy and abused Modi. Maldives has also signed a free trade agreement with China. This conflicts with its India First policy. It has reportedly allowed Chinese submarines to dock. Add to that, Maldives has moved diplomatically very close to China. This development has stirred fears in the Indian security establishment of a Chinese takeover of the Maldives. The island country is heavily in debt to China, and the concern is its inability to pay the debt. Yamin may be left with no option but to walk into the Chinese trap is something which India is very concerned. At the same time, President Yamin has turned increasingly authoritarian. Democracy in Maldives today hangs by a thread. Threatened by Yamin's government, India has been uncomfortable with these developments, but Maldives is a sovereign country. Later in a damage control exercise, Maldives President Abdullah Yamin reaffirmed that his government won't allow anti-India rhetoric in the country, but this was like shutting the stable after the horses had bolted. He also indicated he was anxious to make amends. A free trade agreement with India is on the cards, but South Bloc needs to reassure itself whether Yamin is playing some deeper game. Question for President Yamin. In fact, the larger question is, what does Yamin want? What is the offer of a free trade agreement genuine? Important to note that Maldives produces virtually nothing. Is Yamin motivated by concern over his political future? Could that be the reason why India has cracked down on political opponents? As India readies a diplomatic reply to Maldives, it will have time to reflect on the state of current relationship and what India wants. And I'm joined by my senior colleague Surya Gangadharan from the newsroom. Surya, what explains this ups and downs, the highs and lows of India and Maldives relationship?
Well, one of the reasons attributed to this is that perhaps India didn't keep its eye on the Maldivian ball. They were looking at so many other developments in the region and were preoccupied with that. With the result that when the political change happened in the Maldives and President Abdullah Yamin came to power, perhaps we were not as alert as we should have been. In any case, Yamin came with an agenda and appeared determined to go ahead with that agenda. And somewhere down the line, he was able to get the Chinese to back him up. Let's not forget the fact that, as you also noted, Maldives is heavily in debt to China. And in that sense, getting the Chinese on board was not difficult. They, in any case, appear to have a hold over the Maldives, perhaps even a hold over President Abdullah Yamin.
But Surya, do you think that these relationships can be changed or the trust can be regained? The fact that the Chinese have allowed the submarines to dock in there, and that's pretty close when it comes to Indian strategic interest.
No, absolutely. The Maldivians have, of course, denied it. The Chinese have denied it, but there are denials and denials. And India is concerned that an island so close to its own coastline and so close to its own waters, and which straddles the Indian Ocean sea lanes, is perhaps drifting into the grip of power that is inimical to India. So those concerns remain. The point is, how can we now ensure that the Maldives at least remains more neutral in its approach towards India and less pro-China in that sense? So this is a tough diplomatic game. We have to use every resource that we have to bring them on board, convince them that an adversarial ties with India is not in anybody's interest. And we need to ensure that the Maldives understands the security concerns.
Thank you, Surya, for this update.